In the headlines, gas explosion kills 4, injures others in Kano. EFCC arrests Accountant General of the Federation over alleged 80 billion naira fraud. Normalcy gradually returning to Sokoto as state government relaxes curfew. Away from Nigeria, EU defense ministers gather in Brussels to discuss Ukraine. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for joining. Now the details. Kano State Police Command has confirmed the death of 4 people and several others injured from the gas explosion that rocks Sabon Gari in Fagge local government area of the state. The Kano State Commissioner of Police, Samaila Diko, said that the explosion was caused by a gas cylinder used for welding. He dismissed the earlier claim that the explosion was caused by a bomb blast. The Kano State Police Command told journalists at the scene of the explosion that investigation is ongoing as rescue team were already on ground to evacuate the injured. Nigeria's Accountant General Ahmed Idris has been arrested over alleged money laundering and diversion of public funds. Malam Idris was intercepted in Kano by operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission on Monday evening and is flown to Abuja, the nation's capital, for interrogation. The EFCC has for some time now been investigating a case of diversion of at least 80 billion naira in public funds, which was allegedly laundered through some bogus contracts. Investigators said that the companies used in laundering the funds have allegedly been linked to family members and associates of the Accountant General. Now, amidst tensions in Sokoto State over the killing of a student of Shehu Shagari College of Education for alleged blasphemy, the Gombe State Police Command has held an emergency meeting with Islamic and Christian clerics to strengthen peace. The meeting, which took place on Monday at the police headquarters, had representatives of Muslim and Christian communities in Gombe State. Ibrahim Ismail reports.
The State Commissioner of Police said the meeting was to strengthen understanding and sustain peace between Muslims and Christians in Gombe State. The Commissioner also commended the effort of Islamic and Christian clerics in preaching peace to their subjects and asked them to collaborate with the police to maintain law and order.
Please, I want the religious leader, the preaching that will come out of it, let the preach of peace. Is that okay? Let the preaching that will bring unity. Let it be the preach that will bring togetherness. Because we all want to know, no matter what this is, whether a Muslim or Christian, let leave the remaining one to God. Let the Christian religion leader make the list, whatever that happens, there shall be peace. Let the Muslim leader make whatever that is, let them be religion of peace.
The representatives of Jamaatul Nasrul Islam, JNI, and the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, vow to maintain peace among their followers.
I believe all the religious leaders, they are after peace. All of them, including the Muslims and the Christians. And I believe we are going to take action where we continue our interfaith meeting so that peace will continue permanently in Gombe State.
If there is peace, we are the direct beneficiaries of that peace. And if we are the beneficiaries of that peace, we ought to protect that peace by living in peace with one another.
Gombe is believed to be one of the most peaceful states in the country. Stakeholders say it is important for all to work towards maintaining that status quo. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
In a similar vein, Nasarawa State Governor Abdullahi Sule has summoned a security meeting over the killing of Deborah Samuel, where he cautioned against protests in the state. The governor, who condemned the killing of the student, described it as an act against humanity. Sule said that the federal and Sokoto state governments are taking steps to address the matter, adding that his administration will not relent in its effort to ensuring similar things did not happen in the state. The governor sympathized with the families of the late Deborah Samuel, the Christian community, and humanity as a whole. He appealed to leaders of Kan in the state not to join the protest because of the fragile nature of Nasarawa state and the fear that hoodlums might eventually hijack the peaceful protest to throw the state into anarchy. Over 40 aspirants are competing to be presidential candidates of the two major political parties ahead of the June 3rd deadline given by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) for parties to submit names of their candidates for the 2023 elections. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman x-rays some of the contenders and their chances of clinching the presidential tickets of their parties.
Atiku Abubakar, a former vice president, party's flag bearer at different occasions, an aspirant with over 11 million votes in his kitty during the 2019 presidential election, a top-notch businessman with deep pockets.
We should focus on the issues, not our differences. Let us unite and fight our common enemies. That is lack of unity, insecurity, poverty, inflation, and unemployment.
Bukola Saraki, a two-term governor, a former Senate president, a former chairman Nigeria's Governors Forum, several-time presidential aspirant with understanding of party politics and relative financial muscle. Nyesom Wike, a two-term governor of oil-rich Rivers State, is relatively known outside the South-South politics. In the ruling APC, the incumbent Vice President Yemi Oshibanjo, a former Lagos State Commissioner of Justice, his faith-based antecedents and a perceived betrayal many think will work against him.
I had the honor of serving under a transparent leader, President Muhammadu Buhari, one who exposed me very diligently to all that there is to know about governing a complex.
Next is national leader of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Bola Tinubu, who midwifed the birth of the party at inception. Two-term governor of Lagos State, mentored successful politicians.
You are my leg, you are my wings, you are my wing to get me there. And I promise you, I will not let you down.
Rotimi Amechi, Taban da ɗan amanan Daura, trustworthy son of the Daura Emirate, as a two-term governor, a former speaker, transportation minister for nearly 8 years. Though seen as a bridge builder, he is not enjoying the support of his kinsmen.
I'm compelled by the urgency of our present challenges to place my experience and proven capacity at the service of the nation at the highest level.
The incumbent Senate President Ahmed Lawan can rely on statutory delegates to snatch the ticket courtesy of the recent amendment to 84 subsection 8 of the Electoral Act, waiting presidential assent. He is, however, seen as a hardcore loyalist to Buhari government.
I want to appeal to all Nigerians that we are seriously committed to taking Nigeria to the next level.
Another contender outside the two parties is Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, a two-term governor of politically sophisticated Kano State. He is out to flex his muscle and grassroots appeal under the platform of a relatively obscure New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP.
What we have to do is to go back to our own states, our local governments and what? And not to only register ourselves and our families, but you have to tell each and every Nigerian to register with NNPP.
While the PDP presidential aspirants will scramble for votes of the 3,700 delegates, their APC counterparts will battle to secure a comfortable number out of the 7,800 delegates to decide the party flag bearer. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now, as primaries of political parties draw closer, presidential aspirants have continued to solicit the support and votes of delegates from Kaduna State. The latest is the immediate past Transport Minister, Rotimi Amechi, who turned his resignation letter Monday afternoon. Fatima Laden reports.
As primaries of political parties draw closer, presidential aspirants have continued to solicit the support and votes of delegates from Kaduna State. The latest is the immediate past Transport Minister Rotimi Amechi, we gathered turned in his resignation letter Monday afternoon. Amechi said, as the youngest and the most experienced among the party's presidential aspirants, he is more qualified for the job than others.
I may be 56, one of the youngest aspirants, but I'm the most experienced. Most experienced, governed a state that had insecurity like Kaduna. I don't know how many of you remember those days that you can't visit Port Harcourt. All of you were scared of coming to Port Harcourt because of the level of insecurity. So I have had experience of governing a state where there was insecurity.
The ex-minister also responded to questions on the Kaduna-Abuja train attack with about 62 passengers still in captivity.
I joined every person in cabinet to own up to the fact that we may have failed. But we did our best as a government to ensure that lives and property on the road were saved. We did our best. So those who have been kidnapped, the federal government is doing quite a lot to get them released. But security is not discussed in the public glare. Security is done privately and quietly until these people are released. You may not hear much. I join those parents who are not happy to request that they can until the government is able to get those people who are in captivity released.
From the opposition, the People's Democratic Party, one of the contenders, Peter Obi, whose campaign train was in Kaduna, says the current administration has failed the country through mismanagement of resources, adding that it is time to turn the country from a consumption to production economy.
The money we borrowed and consumed or thrown away, if we are taking just 10% of it, 5% of it and thrown to the textile industry, Nigeria would have been a different place. We can earn more money from exporting textiles and garments than we earn from oil. Oil is just giving us $15 billion, so we can do more. All you need to do is to remove Nigeria from consumption to production.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has set June 3rd as the deadline for the conduct of party primaries in the country. Fatima Salaladen, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Staying with politics, Plateau elders have warned that the imposition of a candidate on the people will cost the All Progressive Congress the governorship seat in Plateau State in 2023 election. A group of Plateau elders under the aegis of Equity and Justice Forum gave the warning at a press briefing in Jos, the state capital. In the group's message, signed by Umar Shatin and Sumaila Makama as chairman and co-chairman, the elders allege that the incumbent administration of Governor Lalong has commenced moves to manipulate the outcome of the party primaries in favor of his preferred candidate. It noted that the injustice and imposition of candidate perpetrated by the People's Democratic Party during its party primaries in 2014 is about to repeat itself in the APC, saying that the party will lose the governorship seat to another party if care is not taken. You're watching Trust News Update. Coming up shortly, a look at issues concerning family planning. Details and more after the break.
Daily, we bring you updates around politics.
People like you who are very young, you have no future. Anybody now who is 30 years, if what is happening to them continues, by the time you are 60, you will have no country.
The DPO of a particular unit does not have to wait until the commissioner tells him what to do within his jurisdiction.
We have political parties on the ground. Some of them have been there for years. But they themselves, in their own sober moments, they know that this country is not the one they are expecting to run.
Policy and governance.
Are you saying the NBS is lying?
I'm saying to you very clearly that the NBS has a serious problem with accurate data till today.
The 5th Assembly, as well as the 7th Assembly, their own attempt were unproductive.
Emergence of the Taliban has simply emboldened terror groups globally.
There is a lot of attention with regards to security developments in Nigeria.
On Daily Politics, we interrogate issues, holding the actors to account, bearing in mind all the sides.
We heard that in some places now, people have to go and pay tax, not to the local government, not to the state, but to criminals.
Nobody can come to your house and kidnap you without information.
If this country is bleeding, it is bleeding because we have failed to educate our young.
Welcome back. You're watching the news update on Trust Television. A look at the top stories again. Residents have been killed, others injured in Kano explosion. EFCC has arrested Accountant General of the Federation over 80 billion naira fraud. The federal government on Monday said the Abuja-Kaduna train service will resume on May 23rd. Train services had been suspended on the route after a terrorist attack. A train fatally shot several persons and abducted scores of passengers in March. In a statement signed by spokesperson Yakubu Mahamoud, the Nigerian Railway Corporation said that the decision to resume services does not mean that efforts to secure the safe release of those abducted will be put on hold. The families of those abducted have threatened to resist the reopening of the train service. In the statement, the NRC said customers must present a valid photo identification card and a reachable telephone number of next of kin or close relative before boarding a train. Family planning is a decision by couples to space or limit childbearing to ensure population control, healthy reproductive process, and proper care for children. Despite being a decision for individuals and both partners, male participation has over time been low due to some certain biases. Trust TV's Aisha Salihu takes a look at men's perception about family planning and methods developed for the male gender.
Increased access to family planning services is one of the commitments of the Federal Ministry of Health and the World Health Organization to ensure safer families. With Nigeria's growing population, unsafe traditional contraception practices, stakeholders say childbearing should be by choice rather than by chance. Modern methods have now been deployed to ensure men who intend to limit childbearing take charge of the family planning process.
So there's a method for men and there are methods for women. And apart from some experimental methods that are being looked at now at commercial purposes for men, like what we call the Vasogel. The Vasogel is an experimental method that is still not very widely used, but the concept is to under vision, maybe an ultrasound, inject a gel into the male vas deferens. That's the tube that transports sperm, from the testis. It's called the vas deferens. So they inject the gel, and once the gel is injected, it hardens. They're also looking at a reversible type of Vasogel, but for the meantime, Vasogel is non-reversible. Then there are other ones. There is a tablet called Gossipol that is still being experimented for men, but the normal, well-known male method is a permanent method, one of the permanent methods, or the non-reversible methods known as vasectomy.
However, biases such as possible irreversibility of some modern contraceptive methods for men and the age-long vasectomy have continued to dissuade men from participation.
For me, personally, I don't think that one is advisable because we have a regulation that is going on already for the women, and there are several methods of doing that family planning from the women.
men and women, I think the best bet should be self-discipline. Self-discipline, because nobody is pushing you.
Experts say contraceptive methods like vasectomy are safe as opposed to popular opinions.
When you are considering family planning, you are looking at two options. Are you spacing or are you limiting? Now, if you are spacing, it means that you want to have children, still want to have children, but you want to have them at particular intervals or time difference. Then you are spacing. But if you are limiting, it means that you've had the number of children you want to have and you don't want to go ahead to have any other child. Then you can consider permanent methods. The one for the male is vasectomy.
Nigeria looks forward to achieving access to sexual and reproductive health, including family planning, information and education, and the integration of reproductive health into national strategies and programs by the year 2030.
The FCT Police Command has arrested 3 suspects in connection with murder of one Terunga, Stephanie, a 26-year-old corps member deployed to City Homes Estate, Lokogoma in Abuja. Stephanie, who reportedly left home on April 14 in her NYSC uniform, was declared missing and later found dead on April 27. The arrest was made following the deployment of tactical and intelligence assets at the command's disposal, attached to the Homicide Department of State Criminal Investigations Department. The suspects were paraded at the FCT Police Command in Abuja. Trust TV's Maradia Umar was there.
At a press briefing, the FCT Police Commissioner, Babaji Sunday, stated that the trial of Jennifer Sembe, a 26-year-old lady, Monday Simon, aka Black, and Solomon Abu, both male, aged 36 and 35, all residents of Maitama area of FCT, confessed to the crime.
Discreet and painstaking investigation by tactical and intelligence assets of the command attached to the homicide section of the State Criminal Investigation Department, State CID, led to the arrest of 3 suspects, all residents of Oguta Lake, Maitama area of the FCT, who criminally conspired and murdered the victim to separate her from Edward Achadu, so that Jennifer Sembe, one of the suspects, an estranged lover of Edward, could have him all to herself, especially for pecuniary benefits.
The suspects speak on the involvement in the alleged murder of the corps member.
My own work day is just tie the gear and go. Then as I tie the gear with my friend Jaru, where he's not here, so as we touch her, we'll just go and leave her with the Jennifer in the house. So our plan is, she said that she will give us 100,000 when she get the money from her boyfriend. Their boyfriend will give her, she collect money. So I don't really know how much is that. I don't know how much she's going to collect, but within our issues, in our discussion is she will give us 100,000.
She lured the girl. I don't know how she managed to get the number of the girl. She called the girl. She promised to give the girl a phone, according to her. So on that fateful day, on a Thursday like that, I was in the office when she called me that she please come so that I will help open gate when the girl comes. And I foolishly accepted to come open the gate. So I came. When I came and I met this guy and one other guy there with her. I said what's happened. She said she wants them to scare her when she comes so that she will not make noise, so that she will get information from the girl and then later call Edward, their boyfriend that they are dragging, to collect ransom.
Today's briefing is targeted at reaffirming the commitment of the command to the fight against crime and criminality in the territory as a way of encouraging the good people of the territory not to relent in cooperating with the police.
He said the suspect will be charged to court upon the conclusion of the investigation.
In a related development, the Borno Police Command has recovered and defused an improvised explosive device in an IDP camp in the state. Briefing journalists on the development, the Commissioner of Police, Abdu Umar, said the explosive device was planted by ISWAP terrorists inside Dalori IDP camp in Konduga local government area in the early hours of Monday. Umar, who revealed that its operatives also apprehended some suspects with premium motor spirit, assured that the command will not condone any unlawful assembly in the state.
of some criminal elements with petrol. Actually, you see, that is the essence of crime prevention technique. And sincerely speaking, and what I've told you we have been doing is what we are doing. And in the course of the movement, some youth were cited with content suspected to have been fuel inside the jerry can. For us to be proactive, we pick them, and we are going to interrogate them, and we don't know whether it's going to be used for a purpose, and hence they are with us. We'll substantiate and later give brief on that. I personally received an information that there is a suspected object planted somewhere in the IDP camp, of which I've already, without delay, directed my experts, EOD experts. They are there. I've been communicating with them, and they confirm it's an improvised explosive device planted just across the wall inside a plastic bucket with a panel. And the experts have given me assurance that they are going to defuse and dispose the IED.
And away from Nigeria, defense ministers are gathered in Brussels to discuss more arms supplies and another 500 million euros from the bloc's budget for arming Ukraine, which is likely to be approved without issues. The ministers will be joined by NATO officials and the head of the European Defense Agency to hold a discussion about an investment gap analysis prepared by the Commission.
Then we are going to go about the situation in Ukraine. I will inform the ministers of the decision to increase with 500 more million euros the contribution from the European Union budget. Well, not European Union budget, strictly speaking, by the Intergovernmental Fund, European Peace Facility, which is managed by the member states.
Now in sports news, Nationwide League One NLO have announced
a two-week break for 2022 league season commencing from May 16 to May 31, 2022, to allow participating clubs the opportunity to beef up their teams with new players. The clubs will use the break to fortify their teams by registering additional players to prosecute their remaining matches. Meanwhile, NLO will also use the window to play the Nationwide League 2022 Division 2 league scheduled to commence from Sunday 22nd to Saturday 28th May. NLO have announced a two-week break for 2022 league season commencing from May 16 to May 31, 2022, to allow participating clubs the opportunity to beef up their teams with new players. The clubs will.
And that wraps up Trust News Update. You can watch more by clicking the subscribe button on our YouTube channel and also following us across all social media platforms. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for watching.